Hey, my name is Ivory, and I am giving my presentation about human trafficking and immigration. Human trafficking and immigration are two major issues that are the forefront of the news more often than not. A lot of times we see issues with ICE, and we see issues with people being followed by vans and being human trafficked. Human trafficking is defined as the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons by improper means, such as forced abduction, fraud, or coercion, for an improper purpose, including forced labor and sexual exploitation. And those are the two that we will focus on today. The acts, the trafficker must commit one or more of the following acts, and they are recruitment, transportation, transferring, harboring, receiving, or giving or receiving benefits. Using these following means: violence, threat of violence, coercion, abduction, fraud, deception, or abuse of power. The purpose is for the main purposes that they have are sexual exploitation, forced labor, slavery, servitude, and organ removal. But the most two are sexual exploitation and forced labor. Okay. Human trafficking. So, most of the victims of human trafficking are women and girls, around 71%, and 29% are men and boys. Um, but there are over 21 million victims worldwide. 54% is for sexual exploitation. So sex trafficking is the most, and that is 54% of all human trafficking. Then we have forced labor, which is the second most, which is things like domestic work and field work. And then other purposes, including organ trafficking, is the last. Around They make about $150 billion every year off of this human trafficking. 55% of the victims are children, ages 12 to 14. And yeah, let's go to the next slide. Okay, sorry. Next, we will be talking about immigration. Immigration, an immigrant is a person who comes to another country for the purpose of living permanently. And as you can see, immigration, can you see? Immigration statistics, the immigration in this country has risen from 1990 to around 2007. And then it has lowered a little bit but became stagnant since then. Um, and this is immigration from the southwest border. This is the vulnerability from southwest border, so that's around like Mexico towards California. So the southwest border migrants, this is the vulnerabilities they face. A lot of them, 526,000 are arrested in U.S. or Mexico. Um, about 100,000 are abandoned on the trip. About 138,000 face assault and robbery. About 118,000 face rape and coerced sex. About 76,000 face long terms of incarceration. 81,000 have drugs and smuggling. About 27,000 are human trafficked, and about 26,000 are kidnapped and into extortion. So the way we define human trafficking, it would be this human traffic section plus this kidnapping and extortion section plus this rape and coerced sex portion, and the extended incarceration portion. They also face arrests, and then they also here are some more examples of the vulnerable situations they're in. 19% of immigrants coming to this country have been identified as victims of human trafficking. Human trafficking and immigration are connected in many ways. Immigrants are more likely to be trafficked because they are vulnerable, as we just showed the vulnerabilities in the last couple slides. There are limited protections for immigrants that are undocumented. Because they are not citizens of the United States, they have more opportunities to be taken advantage of because technically they don't have any rights under the Constitution. Traffickers target the vulnerabilities of illegal immigrants and use it against them. So they know that they cannot call the police, or they will be taken back to their country of origin. So they specifically target these immigrants.